So Usyk has now announced his next fight. We all thought could be Deontay Wilder, could be many other in the heavyweight division looking for mandatory shots at titles because he has so many. But it is for a world title. It is the WBC title on the line, but it is against Rico Verhoeven, obviously a great kickboxer in his. This will take place at the Pyramids of Giza. Obviously, I don't think any heavyweight title fight has ever happened there, especially, but in Egypt either. I don't think there's been a heavyweight title fight there ever. So an event, obviously being sponsored and ran by DAZN with Ring Magazine, and this will be a ring card. So obviously you've got the Saudi money behind it, and that's why these type of events, where they're in places you wouldn't expect, and they've clearly have to have a lot of money behind them to actually get the event there, get everything set up correctly, get everyone to the table, especially Usyk, who has many options to get him to the table for this, to fight a kickboxer for a world heavyweight title. He's going to need some money, and look, Rico's going to need some money as well to take on Usyk. He's going to want the challenge. Obviously, he'll want the challenge, but there's a lot of money involved for both. I think, look, this is a higher level fight than AJ and Jake Paul for sure. Both are top level professional fighters at. They're the pinnacle of their sports. Usyk in boxing and Rico in kickboxing. Obviously, he is the best kickboxer in the world at current, and they're both in that conversation of best ever type thing. So in their respective sports, they're at least in the top echelons of it. I think Rico's probably ranked a bit higher. Usyk, he's got probably more competition in his sport from boxing with the amount of great heavyweights we've had, whereas Rico, he's sort of it's a younger sport. It's not as matured as boxing, so actually he's probably higher in his rankings there and could be considered the best ever, to be honest. So, and I think in their respective sports, there'll only be one winner. And really, because it's a boxing fight, it'll be Usyk. That's clear. It's at a higher level than AJ Jake Paul, but still, I think there's only one winner, like we thought in that fight, where, look, there's no way Rico can come in and be a boxer in the boxing ring. In a kickboxing ring, there's no way Usyk wins against Rico. It's the same standard. Look, it'll be a better level of fighting than AJ Jake Paul, but I think the result's still the same. I think it's a very dominant win for Usyk. And look, Usyk, why wouldn't he take the money? He's done everything he can. He wanted the Wilder fight, but that didn't materialise. So if that doesn't materialise, why wouldn't I take the massive paycheck I'm being offered by Ring to fight a kickboxer for a world heavyweight title? But I think really this only is bad for the sport in a way that this is for a WBO world title in boxing. There are so many boxers waiting for that opportunity, waiting to have that call for a title shot. And the fact that kickboxers just come straight in and got the title shot. And yes, it's entertainment. Yes, it's XYZ. He'll bring in eyes. He'll bring in the eyes from his sport. It will generate lots of money. Yes, probably more than anyone else Usyk could fight. I would say yes. It's up there with probably Wilder, I think, to be honest. I think this really hinders any up-and-coming heavyweight where they're waiting for a title shot with the WBO or with Usyk in general. I think it becomes a right problem where they're getting pushed aside basically for this kickboxer to come in, fight for a world title because it's an entertainment fight. It's entertainment. It's not a world heavyweight title fight. It is, but it's not of that level. It won't be. It's clear who's likely going to win. I think the key point is that, well, I don't see how WBO is allowed, really, like in general, in their rules, to go, I don't mind who's in the rankings or who's a contender, who's XYZ. Rico can just come straight in and fight for a title shot. I can understand Usyk and Rico doing this without a title shot, but having a title on the line for this fight is mad to me. I think it really pushes the narrative of going, well, these belts are really the governing body's idea of what they want to do in general. If they know the fight's going to make X, Y, Z, they're going to get a load of money from it as well. They will make them fights. They're not looking at mandatories or anything like that. And look, you got Caballero, and not even a contender, an interim champion with the WBC, with the same body that is allowing this fight for a title next, which is just mental. How can you have an interim champion because your champion basically didn't fight them in a time when they had to take another fight, or you allowed another fight to happen for a interim title, and then you're pushing the champions then, not even pushing him, but allowing him to fight a kickboxer for your championship makes no sense at all, other than it is for money. Because look, what should happen is once the interim champion has been made, then the next fight is between the champion and the interim champion. It has to naturally happen, otherwise it stalls titles, it stalls divisions. That is the key problem here. So Caballero, he won the interim title the 22nd of February. He's now going to have to wait massively long to actually get a title shot. Whoever wins this, it's the 23rd of May when this fight's going to happen with Rico and Usyk. Look, that basically means you're back end of the year minimum to get a fight with Usyk, and that's if he doesn't vacate, which I fully expect he will after this. I don't see him fighting Caballero, but it's just painful. I think it stalls the whole WBC. If you're high up in the WBC and you're going Caballero, it's the worst case scenario for Caballero. I wouldn't be surprised. Massive complaint surely from him about this, because it's just ridiculous that this can happen for a title shot. I can understand it not happening for a title shot. Usyk goes away, does what he does what he wants to do, which is perfectly, he perfectly can do and happy. He's at the top of the sport. He gets choice of what he wants to do, but he doesn't get to choose what he does it for title wise. He can't. This whole thing that's been signed off clearly by the WBC stalls a division or stalls a title for the next year. Clearly, because February, Caballero won it. Now you're looking at May. Caballero could probably make sometime, probably post-May, maybe. But you're looking halfway through the year. Now you're looking at least the back end of the year, and that's if Usyk fights. And if he doesn't fight, then you've got Caballero going up, and then need a fight there to make it reasonable and make it seem, not as you've been pushed up because Usyk vacated type thing. I think you need a big fight there to really get that, okay, this is the person with the WBC now. And I think this is just terrible for Caballero. I think it's the worst for Caballero for sure. But it's bad for everyone else in the top of them rankings who may go for a WBC title shot or title fight or contender fight in the near soon future. They're going to be stalled as well for at least even further 18 months, 2 years before they can even look at getting a title shot, because this all needs figuring out. You've got Caballero who needs a title shot or something in the next year, which will definitely be the back end of the year now. So then you got Akoli, you got Dubois, AJ, you got top three. Then you got Atoma. All these guys are gonna have to look at fighting who. Who are they gonna fight? Because actually, you get Usyk, who's likely gonna leave, and what happens? Well, then Caballero has to take a fight from one of these guys. And look, Akoli's there, Dubois there in the rankings, AJ, Atoma. Where are these guys not gonna take? Will these guys take a fight? I don't see them taking a fight. I see them waiting and seeing how it plays out, because I'm going to be waiting anyway. I'm going to be waiting a year for Caballero to fight Usyk or get pushed up to title, like the full title instead of the interim, well then why would I fight? What's the purpose of me fighting? I think it stalls the whole of the WBC heavyweight division. I think fighters may a co-leader, but they may fight elsewhere for other titles or for other things, which I think Dubois will be doing, obviously with Wardley. But anyone who's looking at a WBC title, probably a co-lead is one of them, and going, that's I'm so high up in the rankings, I'm looking at a title shot. Should I just wait? That's really stalled him. That pushes him away from the title, pushing him towards another. And I think this is a terrible move from WBC. It really, the next 2 years messes up your whole heavyweight division in WBC, I think. Because Usyk's going to be leaving anyway. That's going to cause turmoil anyway. Caballero's already got the interim title. So you're already in a messy spot with an interim and a champion. And the champion really looking like he's going to retire. And then you go and make a fight with a kickboxer who's not in the rankings, that hasn't boxed before. It's just awful. Just I don't understand how it happens for a title shot. Great fight, entertainment purposes, money purposes, perfectly makes sense to get people on board, to get other people from kickboxing into boxing, a big fight in a country, in Egypt, outside the pyramids of Giza, an incredible event and scenes, but I think it's just that title shot bit is the only bit that concerns me with how messy this WBC title will now get at post this. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think of the fight? Who do you think will win? I think Usyk wins well. I think he probably feels him out a bit because Rico's quite a big guy for a few rounds, and I think by round 8 he gets it done. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think about also the WBC title being on the line as well? I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.